Okay, last thing we're going to do is find the inverse of these two functions. So we're just going to use this four-step process to find them. So for number one, let's find the inverse of this guy. The step number one says replace f of x with y. So that would be y is equal to the cube root of 2x plus 1 minus 4. Second step is to interchange x and y. So when we interchange those, we get x is equal to the cube root of 2y plus 1 minus 4. All right, so then we solve for y. So to solve for y, we isolate the term that has y in it by adding 4 to both sides. And then we need to try to get to this y, but he's caught underneath that radical term. So we need to cube both sides of that equation. So if we cube both sides, cube this side, raise this to the third power. The cube root of something raised to the third power, these undo each other. So what we're left with on the right-hand side is just simply 2y plus 1. And on the left-hand side, we have x plus 4 to the third power. You do not need to multiply that out. Now, to solve for y, we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. Excuse me. And then we need to divide both sides by 2. And that's what y equals to. The last step is to replace y with f inverse of x. So we're going to say that f inverse of x is equal to x plus 4 cubed minus 1 divided by 2. And that's number 1. All right, let's go over here to number 3. And it says h of x is equal to 3 over 2x minus 1. So step number 1 says to replace f of x with y. But in this case, we have h of x. We're going to replace it with y. So we have y is equal to 3 over 2x minus 1. Second step, interchange x and y. So when we do that, we will get x is equal to 3 over 2y minus 1. Third step is to solve for y. So what I'm going to first do is kill my fraction by multiplying both sides by the denominator. So over here, I'm going to multiply this by 2y minus 1, 2y minus 1. Okay. On the right-hand side, these will cancel, and I'm just left with 3. On the left-hand side, I have 2y minus 1 times x. I'm going to distribute this x. I get 2xy minus x is equal to 3. Now I want to isolate the term that has the y in it so I can ultimately solve for y. I'll do that by adding x to both sides. So I get 2xy is equal to 3 plus x. Now to get y by itself, I will simply divide both sides by 2x. Those cancel, and I'm just left with y is equal to 3 plus x over 2x. And now the last step is to replace y with f inverse of x, but in this case it is h inverse of x. So we're going to say that h inverse of x is equal to 3 plus x over 2x. You could also write this as 3 over 2x plus x over 2x, or 1/2. Both of these are acceptable.